Hello, everybody. Welcome to Telli Talks, where we talk about life, growth, relationships, and all things in between. We are here at the Classic Cat, and I have a very special guest with me. He is the co-founder of Rumble Boxing and an entrepreneur, Noah Neiman.
Thank you.
Cheers.
Salud.
Salud.
What is this? You just
Water.
Oh, okay. All right.
H2O.
Because I've been on a year kick, no drinks.
I love that.
It wasn't like a spiritual thing. It was just I'm getting older. I felt like shit, so I was like, I'm not gonna drink.
And you know what's crazy? I feel like every time I drink, I just get bloated. I don't like how it makes me look.
Man, in your 30s.
Oh.
I used to bounce back quick. Now it's like 2 days, 3 days. Yeah, so I was just it's not worth it anymore.
It's definitely different.
I appreciate the H2O.
I'm
Bobby Boucher would be proud.
I know, right? Hydration is a must. So for the people that don't know your journey, can you tell us how you got to where you are today?
Oh my God. I mean, it was a series of unfortunate events. Like most entrepreneurs have that chip on their shoulder, that dark spot, which led to the most fortunate thing in my life, which was the ability to create something of value for multiple communities across the world now, which is crazy because when I started kind of my journey, I'm not an astronaut, so I don't really want to call it a journey, but when I started this process of where to get to where I'm at now, I was literally living in my parents' basement, depressed and just with no hope or ambition and lost and battling anxiety. So you rewind like 15 or so years ago, I was living in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania after living in New York for a little bit. Moved back to Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania to deal with some family health issues. And I fell in with a bad crowd, the crew that I grew up with, the crew that, this is kind of a full circle moment, the crew that, I was always getting in trouble with when I was a kid, running the streets, I did the look up on the statute of limitations so I could say this, like stealing cars and just being a knucklehead when I was 13, 14, 15 years old. But you can't get me now because the statute of limitations is up. So I just fell in with this crowd and started doing drugs, and I went down a deep dark spiral for a year and a half. And my first really unfortunate event was I almost OD'd. So I woke up in the hospital, and it was Shadyside Hospital in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. And I remember seeing, through the lights, I was all hazy still. It was my mom, my dad, my younger brother who, idolizes me and I idolize him, my older sister, my nieces, my nephew, my brother-in-law. And they just had this look of concern on their face. And I remember feeling so gutted and heartbroken that I could make someone I care about and love feel that way. So from that day, I woke up, everything cold turkey. I was doing painkillers and cocaine and just mixing them, which is like the most lethal combination you can do, just being reckless. So my parents kicked me out of the state of Pennsylvania. They were
wow.
Yeah, which is
how did they do that?
They said, get the hell out of Pennsylvania. And I was like,
did they legally do it?
I don't think they could legally do it, but
how is that?
But they were right. Like I saw how I had crashed, and I didn't want to stay in that dark place. And unfortunately, I hope the reason I'm so open about it, one, I always talk to my younger self, and I like to hopefully help people who are in that similar situation, because I felt so hopeless. Absolutely. It looked like hell was just surrounding me and there was no way out. And it took something really unfortunate, obviously, to happen to get me out. But I had support. And a lot of people either don't have that support or don't think they have that support, or just stay inside themselves and stay in that dark place. But hopefully this story will help them show, because I'm not special. But again, I had a special support system that got me to where I'm at right now. So kicked me out of Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. I was broke, penniless. They gave me $10,000 and I moved back to New York. And $10,000 is a lot, except in New York. That's not. That's like one hot dog and 1 week rent.
So overly expensive.
Dumb, stupid money for no reason. I was living in I found on Craigslist a third floor walk up above a bar in St. Mark's that literally the floor was slanted like this, so I had to sleep sideways, and you would open up the oven and it would hit the toilet.
Oh my!
And it was $4,000 a month. I was like, what the?
I was the same. I was the same way when I used to live in Jersey. I'm like, why is it so expensive? Why? And it's like we don't even have an elevator here.
No raisins. It makes no sense.
It's like this little unit is like so expensive, and it's probably because it's such a small state that they have to continuously build up, and you have to pay it because it's so small.
Supply and demand, man.
Yeah, it's ridiculously expensive.
Economics 101. So I moved back to New York, and I was suffering the ramifications of quitting drugs cold turkey and still dealing with depression, which I battled pretty much my whole life, anxiety. I was diagnosed with ADHD when I was a kid, and something called ODD, which is oppositional defiant disorder, which means if somebody of authority tells me to go left, even if it's in my best interest, my ass going right. I have to. So dealing with that, which again will come back to full circle why I boxing. So move into New York. No purpose, don't know what the hell I'm gonna do. Money is running out. I'm like at Key Foods, which is not Whole Foods. It's like, it's an Alphabet City. It's our grocery store. I'm like swiping, like praying my card goes through, and like it doesn't. I got to put back the chicken, and I'm praying it goes through. It doesn't. I got to put back the eggs, and like I was going through that for a year, and then I just remember one of my friends, this guy Micah Jesse. I don't know. He's like a red carpet analyst. He interviews people. He was writing an article on this place called Barry's Boot Camp, which I'm sure you've heard of. It's an international, group fitness sensation. Been around since I think 1998. Started right down the street on La Cienega, which is kind of crazy. So I remember he had free passes, and when you're broke as a joke, like free 99 is a great price. So I was like, oh shit, let's go. Like free? I got you. I'm there. So I showed up, and I remember I actually almost canceled on him because I was going through a panic attack, which would have changed. There's no Rumble Boxing if I don't show up for this one moment.
Right.
So I don't want to get into the 8 Mile like Eminem, like put my hoodie up and stuff. But that one definitive moment where I was sitting in my bathroom about to leave, and I just felt like, dude, my social anxiety is going to go crazy. I was having a panic attack. I was like, I can't be in public right now. And I was like, you know what? Fuck it. Like, I almost died. What do I got to lose? Right. So I pulled up and went to this place, Barry's Boot Camp, and the trainer happened to be Joey Gonzalez, who's this now CEO of Barry's. And he was training the class, and he came up to me after class, and we struck up a conversation. He goes, dude, I don't know what you do, but like, would you want to train here? And he didn't know that I grew up football, martial arts, jiu-jitsu, boxing, strength training, studying this shit. It was my passion. It was my savior when I was younger. And so I was like, damn, what do I got to lose again? Yeah, for sure. Let's do it. Absolutely. I didn't know what the hell I was doing. I never taught group fitness before. But my whole life had been building up to that moment. It was like Karate Kid, like wax on, wax off, and you don't know what if it's going to pay off or like why you're doing it. Absolutely. And then in that moment, it was like, the clouds parted and something from above, like, not to get too spiritual, but something like was like, you got to do this. This is your purpose. You're ready for this. So I went through all the training and the certifications and all that stuff, and they gave me one class. Because I was unproven, and it's a good brand. It's been established. It's Kim Kardashian's favorite workout. Absolutely. So one class, Monday night, 9 p.m. I'm like, how am I going to get people to work out at Monday night, 9 p.m. in New York City, come to Chelsea after a long ass day? So I just started planning my playlists and what the workouts were going to be, and I started.
How did you market it?
I'll tell you. So it was back when like Twilight was big. So I started marketing and branding it as Vampire Fitness Hour. Like only the craziest motherfuckers in New York would come, show up after a hard ass New York City day and put in this kind of work. I mean, we're sprinting up hills, we're doing metabolic training, we're lifting weights, and so I would show up and 3 people would be there. And I'd be like, all right, cool, 3 people, It's
better than 0.
Better than none. But although sometimes, a week later, like 0 people would show up, and I'd be like, I'd walk home feeling kind of dejected, and then I'd get on Facebook or Instagram, and I'd be like, next week we're going to get this thing popping. Yeah. And then 0 became 2 again, and then 2 became 7, and 7 became 15. And then all of a sudden, 60 people are showing up with a wait list, with a 60-person wait list for this class, because for the first time in my life, I focused on what I could give rather than what I can get. And I had so much to give, but I didn't know that. I was so depressed that I didn't know what value I had to offer. I was so busy being consumed by what value I had to offer myself and how I could get, the chain and the watch and the cars and all the stuff that, you see Diddy on the yacht dancing with Mace and like during the Bad Boy era and Death Row, watching MTV videos and BET Uncut and all that stuff. So you start to focus on those things and how you can get them. as opposed to what you can give to your communities and give to individuals to generate value, which hopefully will translate to, dollar the bag and revenue and dollars in the bank. So I remember just giving my all, and every time I would end class, I would be exhausted. Like I literally just stepped out of a fight or like a sparring session. I was just beat. I was emotionally tired. But I remember seeing the faces of the people I would dap up at the end of class, and they were just so invigorated, and they were sending me messages like, I was having a bad day and I came here and you changed it all around. And I was like, I can impact people like this, this piece of shit that like used to, break into things and steal things and getting in trouble, got kicked out of schools. I'm like, I can contribute.
You found your purpose.
Exactly.
Right.
So that one class became every night, Monday through Thursday, 9 p.m., selling them out. And then I got really fortunate because the community was so strong and so supportive, and I was giving them such good energy that they wanted to give it back to me. That's amazing. So I was training a lot of producers and directors and editors and stuff. So I remember within relatively quickly, it's like an overnight sensation, 10 dark years in the making. I remember getting all this press from my classes, but press like Vanity Fair and GQ and Times New York, and I did a video series for GQ called Fighting Weight with Michael Rourke, who used to was a producer with Hudson Media, owned it, co-founder, and I used to train him, and he gave me a spotlight and a platform because of what I had brought to him. Absolutely. And I never thought about it that way. I was just giving to give because it literally saved my life time and time again, focusing on others rather than myself for the first time in my life. And Michael Carl, who was writing for Vanity Fair, and now he's a senior director at Hermes, like he just put me on, and people put me onto this game that I never knew I could ever be a part of. And I think that if I tried to be a part of it instead of focusing on the day-to-day value that I offered, I would have failed. Absolutely. If I had wanted to, do the GQ and wanted to do the Esquire and only focused on that, I wouldn't have been able to focus on the interactions and those micro relationships that I was building that I didn't even know what it was going to lead to. It was very organic,
as opposed to something that was forced, or something that you wanted, and it just naturally came because you gave. Yeah. And I feel like that's full circle of what life is. You give and you're going to get back. It's almost like a good karma that comes from things. So that's amazing. Congratulations on the life change and from berries. Yes. How did Rumble come about?
Here's the piece de resistance, the
culmination,
culmination of this story. And Eugene will tell this very differently, but I'm sure you've been to Catch Steak and all that stuff. So my business partner, who co-founder of Rumble Boxing, is Eugene Rem, probably one of the most important hospitality restaurateurs, nightlife impresarios of modern generation. He created 10 June, which is one of the most iconic nightclubs in all of New York City history. Catch Restaurants, which is, great food, great ambiance, great atmosphere, and just consistently crushes it. And they just partnered with Tillman Fertitta, were purchased by Tillman to expand. So they're opening up all over. They're in Aspen, and they're opening up in Arizona and Florida and Miami. So Eugene will tell this story very differently, but I'm going to tell the story the way it happened. He hit me up like 8 months before I signed up to do Rumble, and he goes, I was posting a bunch of videos on me boxing and training on Instagram, and while I was still at Barry's, and I would always try to incorporate the principles and the fundamentals and the philosophy of boxing, as you know, with your husband, what boxing and kind of that style of training can bring to you in your life. The discipline, the confidence, the focus, the like I was saying to Champ before, I was too tired to do anything knuckleheadish when I would be done training. So I would always try to exhausted. You come in and you're just like I couldn't even think about getting into trouble right now. I can't even lift my head up. I just want to drink water, eat some food, and sleep. Right. So I wanted to bring that discipline to the masses. So I tried to do it at Barry's and tried to incorporate, working combinations into the class. And so Eugene took note. So put yourself out there, because you never know who's going to watch. Absolutely. You never know, what's the worst that can happen? Some troll on the internet makes fun of you on the keyboard. Like, who the fuck cares?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So put myself out there, and he hit me up and he was like, listen, I want to start a new concept. He was an investor in Flywheel. He was like, I want to start a new concept. I think we should do boxing. It's not really saturated. That's our point of differentiation. Like, what do you think? And I was like, in my head, I knew exactly what the brand I wanted to bring to the public, but I was so scared of losing what I had built, of taking a risk to leave something stable that I was good at, that brought me joy, that brought, joy to others.
Absolutely.
And I was terrified. So, Eugene's a Brighton Beach, immigrant. He's a persistent motherfucker. So he hit me up all the time. He's like, you ready to start this thing? Like, you ready? You ready? And fast forward 6 months of him being really persistent, I was like, you know what? You're never going to accomplish anything of note by taking the safe route, by taking the path that's already been navigated. Nobody writes about that. Mm-hmm. People write about the explorers, the people that are pioneers in their industry. And I was like, 9 out of 10 gyms fail, so odds are against me. But I got something to give, and I'm going to give it. And I have a partner who I trust, who I know. I've known him for years. I've seen what he built with Catch and Tenjun and all of his nightlife and restaurants. So I had already wrote on a composition notebook exactly what I wanted Rumble to feel like, and what I wanted the workout to be, and what I wanted to bring to the public. And it started with 3 bullet points on one of those like composition notebooks. Absolutely. Those like high school ones you would write essays in.
The one that has the black cover.
Yeah, with like the speckle,
on the front. Yeah,
the specklies.
Absolutely.
So I wrote 3 things. It said, I want to punch shit, I want to listen to rap music, and I want to do dope shit with dope people. That was literally the 3 pillars of Rumble. And I shared that with Eugene, and I was like, you know what we have to do? Everyone's doing, or the people that have boxing spaces, especially in the group fitness, they're just doing boxing.
Right.
I want to be a one-stop fitness solution. I want to be boxing. I want to be strength training. I want to listen to music where everybody was playing, the EDM and the poppy, especially for group fitness classes. Right. I wanted to play what I listen to, which is like, heavy metal and rap. And like, I wanted people to feel like badasses when they put on those gloves. Right. And even if they were never going to go pro, even if they were never going to step into a ring, I wanted them to experience at least a little bit of that feeling. Absolutely. And definitely learn the philosophies and the principles. Absolutely. Of training under that style, that tutelage, and all that it brought to me. And we started kind of ideating ideas, and we met with a branding company that he was connected to, this guy Doug Jacobs at Jaywalk, and it was just one of his friends. And again, talk about your community is so important and what you're building and the support system you need. And they gave us kind of 4 presentations of potential branding ideas. And it was 3 of them were very equinoxy, which is beautiful, very polished, like black and white, very clean, but that had been done. And then there was this one brand that looked like Andy Warhol threw up on the page, like Basquiat himself had curated this, kind of street art meets 90s, MTV culture, which is again what we grew up watching. So it was really nostalgic. And like we ended up with this logo right here. So that's the jab. So I grew up skateboarding as well. So it really looked like World Industries, like Spitfire, like that logo. So I immediately resonated with this kind of unique one that was kind of very different than what you're seeing now when a World in 2017, which was everything had to be minimalist and very sleek and polished. I was like,
it's almost like that's not boxing.
No.
And it's like I would feel like a rugged gym would make you feel like you're more a part of like that atmosphere and that life.
Yes, without it being dirty as shit, because people want sterility, they want cleanliness.
We don't want the ringworm.
Yeah, we don't want the and trust me, I had mad ringworm growing up training at Pittsburgh Stout Jiu-Jitsu in Lawrenceville in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Although they are very clean, you just get ringworm. It just happens. Don't worry, there's creams and ointments. I don't have it now. So we saw this brand and we jumped on it. Luckily, I had 3 other co-founders, and we all resonated with this brand, which is really unique when you have 4 very different individuals coming together and actually agreeing on something right off the bat. So we knew we had something special. So we polished it up a little bit. We started looking for spaces and cracked open our first studio January 9th, 2017, and in the midst of a pandemic. And
was that in New York?
In New York City, 23rd between 6th and 7th. No. Literally 3 streets up from where I had first started at Barry's, which was on 20th
wow.
between 6th and 7th. So 3 streets up, I had started my new thing in a saturated space where 9 out of 10 gyms fail. And because of the community and the people we have involved, we were able to open up with, before we even had a studio, we were getting incredible press. Because I had built my name up at Barry's, and Eugene had obviously built his name up with 10 June and Catch. So, we're doing Seacrest and we're doing morning shows so we had a lot of people help us get to where we're at. So I don't want to, look like I'm taking all the credit. There were so many people that dedicated to building this brand, but all that dedication was so that we could provide something of value
Absolutely.
to others. So now fast forward to 2023, there's 80 franchise studios open with another 200 plus on the way. And that growth's fueled by my partners with Exponential. So Exponential is a franchisor that based out of Irvine, California, right? An hour and a half up the 405 or whatever it is. I'm still an East Coast kid getting used to the 405 and the 10 and the 101. It's like, and they're all just backed up.
Yeah,
so
every one of them.
For no reasons. Like at 2 p.m. on a Tuesday, I'm like, aren't you like, where are you supposed to be? Be elsewhere.
That's like, I feel like the hardest argumentative discussion.
Yeah.
Like, what city has the most traffic? Is it Atlanta? Is it New York? Is it LA?
Atlanta's pretty bad too, though. I went and visited my boy at Emory, who was on the baseball team, and I remember being stuck in traffic.
Bad.
We have some rumbles there. I think we have
Atlanta?
some rumbles in Atlanta,
So
Nashville.
where you guys have all the rumbles?
So we have 14 signature stores, which are big 6,600 square foot flagship stores where it showers and it's a 2,200 square foot gym where you're boxing and you're doing the strength training, and there's a podium where the trainer sits, and it's kind of like a nightclubby vibes without being corny, if that makes sense. Because we had Eugene, who was one of the greatest in the nightlife game, helping curate the process. So it came off as authentic. Yeah. So like we brought every gym wants to be like a nightclub and they always say that. We're like a club. It's a party.
Right. But
then they've never had any hospitality training. So we got the best in hospitality in the world. So you see these catch hospitality points within, embedded and ingrained in the Rumble DNA. So customers are showing up feeling like they're eating at a 5-star, expensive restaurant, and they're just going to, punch some things, lift some weights, listen to great music, and do it with some cool, like-minded people. So there's 14 signature stores, New York, Philly, DC, Chicago, San Francisco, LA, literally right down the street, and we go there after. So LA, and then there's the franchise locations are kind of like the ancillary markets. So the Arizonas, the Los Olivos, the Burbanks, Florida, although it's not really an ancillary market, but like Boca, there is one in Miami proper, but like Boca. So there's all these little satellite regions, Tennessee. I just got back from Bondi, Australia, opening up. Shout out to Bondi, which was literally tailor-made for Rumble boxing. It's like the fittest, most like energetic people in the world. I remember waking up at like 5 a.m, and I was already late waking up. Everybody was already out getting their coffee. I've never seen such an early town. So Bondi, Australia. I remember walking. Keep in mind, 12, 13 years ago, I was in my parents' basement, depressed, aimless. Just me and my dog Oz. God bless, love him to death. He's right here. He also saved my life. That's another story. I don't want to bore your people. No, but 13 years ago, and now I'm out in Bondi, Australia. I'm in Sydney, walking past the Opera House, and I hear Noah, and I'm startled, and I turn around, and I'm like, I got my New York hands up. I'm like, what? I'm like, reaction. Yeah, I was ready. And they were like, no, bro, like we used to take your class in New York. Now we're out in Bondi. We heard you're opening up. Like, I love Rumble. I took it before the pandemic, but moved out here. Like, I can't wait for it to open. And I was just like, I got choked up because I was like, fuck. Like, I could be dead. And if I didn't change my trajectory, there is no shot that I'm sitting here right now. Thank you for the hospitality, by the way. There's no shot that I'm sitting here right now, hopefully getting to help the next generation of citizen, of not just entrepreneur, but of human that is in that basement right now, thinking that they're never going to get out. And like, again, I'm not special, but if I just have special people around me and I try to keep a special energy about me because I'm so grateful that I'm still here.
And you know what it is? I feel like everyone's special. You're special. And some people just might not have discovered their reason why or their purpose yet. And I feel like when you get that like aha moment, then it's like your life changes, you know? But some people are content with being stagnant in life and just comfortable. And that comfortability won't allow them to progress. And I feel like once you hit that like pivotal moment, then there's just light at the end, you know? And I just feel like you just got to get to that light.
That's the thing is people don't understand that like the end product isn't even what makes you happy, because that's a very finite point.
Right.
You have to enjoy the process, and the joy and the beauty is in that 1% of progress you can make daily, whether it's
110%.
investing in that's why I love investing in my physical body so much, because it's the one vessel that you can really, it's the one piece of real estate that you really own. And it houses your soul, it houses your brain, obviously, and if it's deficient and if you neglect it, then you're probably neglecting, you know, developing your mental capacity and your emotional capacity, your capacity to love and to interact and be a valuable member of society by being empathetic. So I start with the physical, because that's what I can control. So every time I was having a panic attack, or every time I was feeling down or going through a depressive state, no matter how the fuck I felt, I went to the gym. I hit the bag, I trained mitts, and it got me out of my own head, because I needed it. You cannot thrive if you're just living up here, because there's so much beauty. There's a lot of darkness, but there's so much beauty if you just pay attention and you're observant. But you can't be observant if you're not taking care of yourself. And I always started, again, physical first, and then, trust me, you have to develop your mental, acumen and your mental prowess as well. That's very important. You don't want to just be the meathead in the gym that just like has a six pack and nothing else to offer.
Absolutely.
Although if that's your thing, I don't judge. You do whatever the fuck you want. But there's more. We have more to give.
Absolutely.
And we can only give. My favorite quote in the world, and I have to say it because I say it every single podcast, every interview that I do, it is the most beautifully well-rounded quote, and it's by Muhammad Ali. It says, "Service to others is our rent for our room here on earth." Mm-hmm. Damn. Bars. Bars. Fucking bars.
No,
because
110%. I'd say that's all the time. Like your time on earth is your resume to where you go next.
Exactly.
Please.
That's why I hope I'm heading up there.
110%. I just feel like it is literally like what you do, what you don't do, what you provide, what you don't provide. It's like your resume.
Exactly. But to expand upon the great, Cassius Clay, Muhammad Ali, how do you better serve others? You have to serve yourself first.
Right.
You have to be in touch with your emotional state.
Everything. Relationships, friendships, business ships. Everything.
Because if you invest in yourself, which a lot of people oftentimes think is selfish, which is crazy to me, because when you take time for yourself, obviously you can't give to your family like at that moment.
Right.
But they don't realize that when you do invest in yourself, you come back a force, a soldier in your family's army, as opposed to being a depleted shell of yourself. So, and plus you're feeling good about yourself, you're feeling confident because you've just invested time in developing yourself, and again, progress is the root of joy. So you're feeling joyful. Who doesn't want to be around a person like that? And most people think you have to give profoundly. You have to serve profoundly. It's holding a door. It's
the littlest things can change someone's
exactly
day.
It's the smile. It's the, showing up for your friends despite the fact that maybe you're having a tough day. It's showing up for your people, showing up for your family. It's picking your friend up at the airport, and talk about LA traffic. Like, I'm that friend that'll pick your ass up from Lax, but I didn't know, because I'll pick you up from JFK, and sometimes traffic is bad.
Right.
That Lax pickup,
different.
that shit, it's way different. But I'm still be that kind of friend.
Right.
Despite the fact that you don't want to sit in 45 minutes of traffic or an hour of traffic. Be that person regardless of how you feel, and you'll get done at the end of the day, and when your head hits the pillow, you'll be proud of that person.
Yeah,
and you'll wake up inspired.
Absolutely. And it's almost like, how do you help someone when you're miserable, or if you're unhappy and you're trying to, push out happiness that you don't necessarily have, and then you just your cup just runs dry, you know, and then it's like because you're not feeding yourself. It's just like a plant.
Yeah.
You know, it's like you have to water it every day. You have to make sure it's taken care of. And if you don't water yourself, how are you going to grow? So it's give and take, and it's like you just got to know when to do it. And for the people that are watching, like, if you are in a dark place, there is light and there is a way.
Always.
And just find your reason why and your purpose, and continue to strive and just do better. And even if you don't know better, there's so many sources. The internet, I mean, like, you Google, there's people that can help you, and get on your fitness. Like, health is the ultimate wealth. I know it's corny because everyone says it, but it's just like the ultimate.
We love corny lines in fitness.
Yeah, it's the
blow through
ultimate,
what you go through. I don't know.
Right. No, it just makes sense, because if you're not healthy, how can you make money? How can you spend time with your family? How can you help others? Like, you can't.
It's tough. Listen, it's tough to stay in shape. I get it. There's so many impediments that society, you know, there's a McDonald's on every corner. There's not a, you know, organic food market on every corner. So, and there's costs that, you know, that are inhibitive to eating healthier. I get that, but you find the way.
Absolutely.
And taking that, like, it doesn't, you can do these little, my friend Joe Holder created this. He's a great trainer and a great fitness mind. I'll give him his flowers right now. He created this kind of concept called exercise snacks, where most people think you have to be all in or all out. You got to go to the gym for an hour and a half, 2 hours, and fucking sit there and, you know, do all your workouts. If you get 10 minutes, do a little circuit for 10 minutes when you wake up. 100 squats, 50 squats if you're new, you know, 10 mountain climbers, and do that for 10 minutes straight. So, you, again, your movement doesn't have to be profound. You just got to move. Absolutely. And you would be so surprised how that darkness, just even getting out in nature and just taking a walk, you know, grabbing your kids if you want to, just take a walk and just making movements kind of part of your lifestyle, how impactful that is to your psychology. And it's undisputed. It's the undisputed champ. There's never been a study that came out and said, oh, you shouldn't work out, it's not good for you. It's literally the lowest hanging fruit. I get so many times my friends will hit me up and they're like, bro, how do you have so much energy? And I'm like, I'm not Beyonce. I didn't wake up like this. Like, I trained for it.
Right.
Like,
right. It doesn't happen overnight.
Did your husband, did he wake up the champ? No. You know, 10-time defending champ, 2015 to 2020. First U.S. champ since 2007 to bring the belt home.
Work, 100%.
Exactly. Everything is work. But I think it's hard work to be depressed because I was there.
Agreed.
I think it's hard work to be broke because I was fucking there.
Agreed.
Everything's hard. You just got to choose your hard.
Absolutely. We literally just had this conversation the last podcast I had, choosing your hard.
Damn.
Literally choosing
Sorry
your
to be
hard.
redundant over here.
No. Absolutely.
No, but
it's key and it's vital.
Yeah,
it's like, you know, being big is hard. Being uberly small is hard. You know, working out is hard. Not working out is hard. Everything is hard. It just choose your heart.
Exactly. And go into battle prepared though.
Right.
Imagine you're going into battle and you haven't studied the lay of the land. You don't know your adversary. You haven't invested the time in yourself to get yourself ready to give the energy that you need to fight your fight, talk your talk, walk your walk.
Exactly.
That's wild to me. Mm-hmm. And I've seen
Agreed.
it, you know, in my family. You know, I've seen what happens when you neglect your health. I've seen type 2 diabetes. I've seen, you know, people that I love lose limbs from diabetes. I've seen heart attacks. I've seen cancer. I've seen strokes at a young age. And I'm like, I can't propagate that. I can't perpetuate that cycle in my family. I got to change because, you know, one day I'm going to have kids, but I want to have kids and I want them to have a father, a role model that's happy and energetic and can throw the ball with them and can be alive, Absolutely. You know, and live with them. So I think that's something that we don't focus on as much. So touching back to like my friends hitting me up, like, well, what do you do? And I'm like, well, what did you do today? They were like, well, I woke up, I didn't really eat anything. I went to work, I sat at my desk all day. I had some, you know, snacks, and then I went and I had dinner, and I went and I watched, you know, Yellowstone or Billions or whatever the fuck it is.
Right.
And I'm like, well, did you move at all? Like, because I'll strip it back to nature. Like when my dogs, I have 3 of them now, but when my dogs don't get out and just at least get a walk or they'll be tearing up shit in my house. They'll be destructive. They'll be whining.
They're gonna find something
exactly.
to do.
Where's our puppy playtime? And that's why I'm saying, like, there have been systems of society that have been set up that kind of make it hard to get your, it's kind of corny, but puppy playtime in as a human. But you have to, because I'm telling you, it's that important, because it will literally change the trajectory of your life, but not only your life, how you can impact others.
Absolutely.
And the energy that you have for others, and the energy that you have to face the own shit that you have to go through. Because life, like we said, is fucking hard.
Yeah,
it's hard. Everything's hard.
Everything is hard.
And it should be hard.
Even down to the point of picking what you're going to eat for the day, or where your time is going to go, and just organizing your day.
Exactly.
What you're going to wear. Everything is hard.
I
down to the minimalistic things.
Yeah, there's so many choices, and we're inundated with, all the negativity online, and it's just wild. Like, you got to be extra tough. You got to be extra invested in yourself and building your tank, so that you can be impervious to the bullshit that's out there, because there's a lot. And not only that, you got to build your tank so that you, like I said, you have the vision to identify the beauty.
Agreed.
Because it's harder to see now, because to get clicks, what do we love? We love the negativity. We love the murder porn, I call it, all like, the murder stories and the abduction stories, and like it's a movement. And I'm like, no wonder you're all, stressed out and depressed. You've been watching murder porn for every night for fucking 3 years.
Right.
And I like that shit too, but like you got to, search out the beauty, and I think that part of being confident is not like, obviously not suppressing your feelings. Like, I'd be crying watching, YouTube
I cry
videos
watching
and stuff.
Shark Tank.
That's what I'm saying.
I literally cry watching Shark Tank, because I'm like, they got their dreams. Like,
exactly.
I'm so happy for them. Like, it's almost like I wish that for everyone. It's like, you worked so hard to get this, and it's like you finally got it, and it's a beautiful thing. So I cry literally for everything.
So that's the thing, is like, I think we've maybe gone a little too far on the end of the spectrum about only focusing on feelings. Like, we're very coddled nowadays, and you should always treat people, no matter who they are, what they come from, religion, sexual orientation, gender identity, whatever it is, always treat people with respect and love, because
Agreed.
They deserve that.
100%.
But we also have to be real that sometimes in the midst of our emotions, we still got a job to do. We still got a society to preserve. We still have to push agendas that promote the embetterment of society as a whole. So yes, you should be crying during those videos and being empathetic, but then, my mom says bootstrap. Bootstrap up, like man up, woman up, whatever, they up, and handle your business in the face of that emotion.
Agreed.
Being confident and is not feeling fear. It's about doing the things that you need to do in the face of fear. That's what courage really is.
It's just trying.
Yeah.
There's a show on, I want to say it's on Hulu, on Fox, I believe. It's called Special Forces, and it's military combat training, where they get people to come on the show and do like all types of military shit, jump out a plane, back dive out of a plane, climb up a rope. It's intense. But the whole purpose of the show is to break you to the point where, pretty much break you to the point, but all you have to do is try. As long as we can yell in your face, as long as we can get you to do this, or put you in a cold environment, put you in a hot environment, scare you, put you in a fight, like, what is your reaction going to be? Are you going to try, or are you going to quit?
I have a question for you, and actually all the people listening. When did trying become uncool? Like, there's this, you know what I'm saying?
I have no idea.
There's this cringe movement where it's like people are doing things that, they're not proficient at, or they don't look as smooth as they could, and they get roasted, they get flamed.
Yeah.
I'm like,
I don't agree with that.
I'm like, why?
Yeah.
Like, social media is a series of highlight reels. And we've made it uncool to try at anything, because you cannot be great at something until you're good. And you cannot be good at something until you're bad. Mm-hmm. But you got to be, bad for a while. And
you just got to try.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
You just
so
have
if you're
to
hearing
try.
if you're hearing this, like, just try.
With anything.
Who cares? Yeah, who cares?
With
who
anything.
cares? Be vulnerable. Vulnerability is so cool. It's so dope, which is also, again, I'm like, this is therapy for me. And I got to remind myself, like, and it's important, because this will fuel my next, like, 6 months of living. talking about how dark it was and where I'm at now, and now I'm sitting with you in
In a
Los
beautiful,
Angeles.
you are in a beautiful, blessed
Yeah.
place in your life that I'm so excited and so happy for you guys to grow Rumble to 200, 300
350
plus
coming,
locations
more
is
coming.
insane and super dope. Like I wish
you.
in my businesses they can grow to 300 plus locations, I just think that's
no
a
doubts
beautiful
about you
thing.
and what the empire that you're building.
Oh, thank you so much.
You literally came in, you gave me a candle. I'm gonna come back with Rumble gear and all this stuff. I
thank
showed
you
up
so
empty,
much.
which is so rude.
No. I
love
feel like
that.
my purpose in life and my reason why is to just be nurturing and give, and that's just my thing. Whether I'm giving, through podcasts, through motivational, whether I'm giving through my charity events, whether I'm just talking, giving, like you said, smiling, hugging people, and it's just a good feeling,
Service to others is
Absolutely.
our rent for our room here on Earth.
Absolutely, in
And then-
Jesus' name.
Yeah.
Amen.
Amen.
So for everyone
Yeah.
that comes on, we play this game, a game of Would You Rather. It's an intense game, but I get in the hot seat with you. So we are
Oh, you're gonna make me sip this water.
gonna play.
I gotta rethink
I
this
choose
year
that.
of sobriety thing. I mean, maybe I'll put a little tequila in this.
So we're gonna pick
little closet.
6 cards each. 3, 4,
Don't get me canceled over here. Don't do it.
5.
I don't really have the filter, so it's not.
All right, and then you're gonna pick 6 too, and then
that
we're gonna
right?
go back and forth, ask each other questions. Oof.
All right. Last one.
This is a lot going on these
So
cards.
this is Would You Rather,
Would you rather? So
which
you're
is
gonna
also
read.
a very shitty horror movie. I'm a big fan of like campy horror movies.
Uh-huh.
Would You Rather is a very terrible but very good horror movie. If
Okay,
you're
I
looking
gotta-
for,
I gotta
if you're
see
looking
that.
for a shitty horror movie
I gotta
to
see
rock.
that. So I'm gonna explain how the game is played. So you're gonna take 2 cards, pair the cards up. You're gonna ask, would you rather do what's on this card, or would you rather do what's on this card? So we're gonna play and both be in the hot seat together, and hopefully people don't judge us for our answers because these are crazy.
This is a no judgment. We talked about this. Trying is cool.
No judgment
No
zone.
judgment.
No
Be
judgment
vulnerable. Don't. We're on the
All
spot
right,
here.
since we're not judging,
All right.
would you rather have titties that sag down to your belly button?
Like
Or-
some orangutan titties?
Yeah, pretty much.
Marlon Wayne said. I
Pretty
think.
much. Or have a terrifying sleep paralysis episode every month.
The funny thing is I used to have sleep paralysis.
Oh my gosh.
So when I was younger, I was on like Prozac when I was going through the depressive states. One of the things is you get sleep paralysis. It is the worst feeling in the world, but I'm not trying to have saggy titties. So give me that.
Give me
I'm not
the
trying to
paralysis.
have the nipples down to my knees. That's not
There's
for me.
surgery.
Not for me. I also think yeah, that's true. But I think it would mess with my credibility if I was
Yeah.
telling people how to be, in
Fit.
shape and
Yeah,
fit,
absolutely.
and then my nipples were down by my toes. They'd be like,
It could be like you
Yeah, that's
lost
true.
it, like
Yeah,
you
true, that is
lost
true.
weight, and then you just
that is true. But sleep
just
paralysis, yeah.
gravity took over,
So sleep paralysis, it feels like a demon is sitting on your chest, and you're awake mentally, but your body can't move. So you think that all these things are happening, and I would have this demon screaming at me, and I'd be like, all right, wake up. Like, I know what I'm going through. I've been through it enough. But you just sit there, and you just have to ride it out. It's terrible. It's like, I know some of y'all are going to resonate with that. But yeah, no sleep demons. Yeah. Still sleep demons over the titties.
Okay, it's on you.
Oh. Immediately gain 100 pounds of fat, or we actually just talked about this. Eat a bowl of your own shit.
I just can't eat my own shit. I couldn't do it. I'm a food person. If
Can you flavor the shit, or is it just raw, like out
it's
the
shit.
gutter?
I feel like if you flavor shit, it's still gonna be shit.
No, you put a little of that. You put a little paprika. You get a little
no.
sazon.
Oh.
No, if it's unflavored shit.
I mean,
What if you can make it?
flavored shit is still shit to me. So I'm just
Yeah?
not eating the shit. I'm just not doing it.
All right,
I would rather gain.
You could make a
100
shit
pounds.
souffle.
I would rather gain 100 pounds, have an epic weight loss journey story, make a book, motivate people,
Entrepreneur through and through.
and just strive in success of losing the weight that I lost. Go get my saggy titty surgery and be good with my day.
I like that. Good
That's
answer.
what I'm doing.
Good answer. Good answer.
All right. Would you rather only be able to sleep for 4 hours at a time and then must wait 4 more hours before being able to sleep again? So you could only sleep for up to 4 hours and then must wait for 4 hours to be able to sleep again. Or rub sandpaper on your stomach until the skin rips off.
Huh. I definitely sandpaper. I get hangry and I get cranky when I'm sleepy. I'm like a big toddler. So definitely I couldn't do the 4 hours. But the funny thing is we used to.
You would do the sandpaper?
I would do the sandpaper.
Really?
Physical pain I can deal with. I've broken a ton of bones. I've dislocated fingers. I've slapped lesion, tear in my shoulder. I've gone through some physical pain. Like,
I can't sleep already, so I feel like the 4 hours would be like.
We should talk about that after. I'll give you some remedies.
I'm like,
some
I
things.
can't sleep because I feel like I'm constantly on the go and there's so much going on. And if it's not done, it's like I got to finish it. And there's not enough time in the day to finish everything that's going on and be a mom and, be a spouse and be an entrepreneur and have a podcast and model and, do all these things. And I'm just like, oh my gosh, I got to finish this.
Yeah.
So I don't get sleep. So I'm like 4 hours of sleep and then 4 hours awake and then 4 hours of more sleep.
That's actually how we used to live. So we're actually, some people still do this to this day, but our kind of Neanderthal ancestors, they would stay awake for 4 hours and then do their tasks and stuff. And then they would go back to sleep for, I don't know if it was 4 hours, but they would only sleep in 4 hour intervals. So that's probably based on that. But yeah, I need my sleep now. I used to wake up at 5 a.m. and train people at Tompkins Square Park in New York City.
Where it's almost like you're tired from training or you got to get
exhausted.
the rest.
So I need to sleep now. I've worked hard enough where I can sleep. But yeah, no, I totally get it. It's the same thing as working out.
Yeah.
People who have kids and family and business, like, where's the time?
Right.
But
like you said, you can do
important.
a 10-minute workout and just move, or you could do Pilates. There's so many different workouts.
So maybe this is your answer. You do 4 hours of sleep, you get up, you do your thing, 4 more hours of sleep.
Right. Do your workout in between sessions.
All right, you're up. Get ridiculous. Honestly, this one is like everyone on Instagram and OnlyFans right now. So get ridiculously oversized butt implants that make you look like a freak. I'm like, that's actually preferred nowadays. Or your body hair never stops growing. And like, no disrespect if you got booty implants and you went to El Salvador and you got them put in, but like,
I am like a hairless person besides the hair on my head. I don't want hair anywhere else besides the hair on my head. Eyebrows and eyelash hair. That is it.
Got it.
Everything, arms, legs, anywhere else, hair, I would rather not. The butt implants, I'm not a big fan of like looking like A Bug's Life or Ants
which is ironic because we're sitting in Los Angeles, like 5
but,
minutes from Beverly Hills.
there's so many other locations that's so much worse than LA.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. Like
Miami's up there.
Houston.
Yeah.
I'm to each his own.
Yeah.
I
Again, no
personally
judgment.
don't think that I would be okay with just like it's a call for attention, and there you can get attention other ways, but
you don't like hair, so
yeah, exactly. So I would rather
slice me up.
I would rather get the big butt, remove the big butt, than to have hair that I have to remove every day. That'd just be like consistent. Like I'm like
you're like
looking.
Cousin It.
Yeah,
like
I'm like
family.
shaving my whole body every day would just annoy me. Than to just do something one time, get it taken out, and then
No. You got to do the
you got to live your whole life.
Story. Yeah,
you have to live your whole life.
You
have to write a book about it.
You got to write a book. You got to, actually, your husband's in the back. I'm not going to say start the OnlyFans. That's not,
I'll do that.
I'm not going to make that joke. Playing with you.
Oh, he's like,
I'm not trying to get knocked out in front of all these fine people.
Oh my goodness. Okay, it's on me now. Oh,
all right.
I'm
So the butt.
Yeah,
you're doing the butt, but you're going to remove it.
Yeah, but
after the book.
Yeah. After
because you got that money.
I'll go.
You got to get the bag through it somehow.
I'll go through the process, like you said, of how it's making me feel, and if it's not making me feel, it just goes back to me internally, mentally, physically, emotionally, spiritually, whatever it makes me feel on all those aspects. If it makes me feel good, hell, I might keep the ass. But if it doesn't, and I look crazy, like what they said, because some people might not think it looks obnoxious,
I think a lot of people don't. I think a lot of people do not.
Where
it's like what Coach Prime said, though. Deion Sanders, he was like, if you look good, you feel good, you feel good, you play good, good, they pay good.
Yes.
And so if you look, if you're rocking it and that makes you feel better and that makes you,
there's bad jobs too.
Oh, yeah,
there's bad jobs and there's too big. Like, there's unfitting to your body big.
Yeah, I was at Catch last night, and I seen a few.
Yeah,
But
it's
whatever.
to each his own.
If you're happy,
Yeah, you're happy. I'm
can't
happy
be
for
bad.
you.
Can't be bad. Oh no.
It's on you.
No, I just did the blue
Okay,
one.
it's on me. All right.
on me.
Last but not least,
Okay.
would you rather pull a muscle every time you exert more than 50 pounds of force?
Oh,
So that's right up your
yeah,
alley.
that's the death of
Or
me.
mess up and stutter every time you go into an interview.
Oh, that's tough. You saved the toughest one. I think stutter. I
agree.
And because I know a lot of people that have overcome the stutter to become public speakers or motivational speakers, which I think is beautiful. I need to physically exert myself and lift weights and do things that are aggressive like that, or I just feel mentally unwell. So I physically couldn't survive lifting less than 50 pounds and doing that. So definitely a stutter. And again, you become the motivational speaker, you teach people how to thrive in the midst of their stutter, and then you help other people, and then you write the book, and then you make some money in the process.
We're writing novels here,
Dude,
guys.
we're dropping
New York Times
game
bestseller.
for $3.99 over here. This is so much-
Exactly. I love it.
All right, this is actually a personal one for me as well, unfortunately. Become 100 times more susceptible. That's a tongue twister.
It is.
100 times more susceptible to get all types of cancer, or stab yourself with a knife anywhere in your body, but the knife must go in by at least 2 inches.
How many times you got to stab yourself?
I think just once. I think we already know the answer.
And the other one was...
You're 100 times more susceptible to get all types of cancer.
Yeah, I'm stabbing myself one time over cancer.
100%.
Like that's a lot to deal with.
Yeah.
Mentally, it's a domino effect. It doesn't just affect the person with the cancer; it affects the whole family, and it's a lot to deal with.
Unfortunately, been there, and a lot of people have.
It's tough.
Cancer is definitely on the rise. Like my dad, he won't care that I mentioned this because he's a tough ass motherfucker. Survived stage 3 colon cancer. Bounced back from that. My one friend who, actually, I'm speaking of combat training. We're doing a combat training knife course tomorrow, close quarter combat, down the street. My friend Tim Cash, who former MTV VJ, now he's a producer and just a brilliant mind in the production game in here. He's going through his battle with leukemia right now.
Oh, man.
But talk about in the face of adversity. Like we've been out in the desert doing special forces training, and 100-degree heat. And then the next day he'll go and get chemotherapy. And he said something very profound. He goes, Noah, like what I'm going through is tough, but I'm tougher.
Absolutely.
And I was like,
it goes back to mental.
I'm like, damn, bars. Like going through stage 4, I think, like really tough leukemia treatment, chemo pretty much every other day. He was in the hospital for a month. I'm tougher. Talk about a mentality, like a strong mind.
Absolutely.
And it's probably, to be honest,
with that, though.
well, it's probably why he's still alive, not to be morbid, but he'll attribute this as well, like that having that positive mental attitude in the face of adversity and the face of that darkness is literally the difference between life and death sometimes.
110%.
Shout out to everyone going through
it.
That's so
it's
tough.
a mental thing, it's like it's try or quit. And you just gotta try.
Try or die.
Try
because we love the cheesy. We love the cheesy trainer line.
Absolutely.
Try or die.
Tell everybody what you have going on, where they can find you, and all that good stuff.
Got you. Yeah. So Noah Neiman. First off, thank you for listening to all that. Hopefully it'll help some of y'all. Just reach out to me on Instagram at Noah D Neiman, or should I give him my email? I'll give you my email. Why not?
Just don't. I love it.
Should I do it?
I'll
be vulnerable.
We've never had
we talk about Batch
email.
King. He gives out his phone number and he's like, text me. He's about to be your next guest. Yeah,
that's crazy.
He gave out his phone number. So Noah Neiman, Neiman, at rumbleboxinggym.com. I mean, if you liked it, if you didn't like it, if it helped you, just let me know. Again,
I love that.
I've learned to build up a tough skin. So be kind, but if you need something,
if you guys want to work out
come
with Noah, come to Rumble. It's down the street, Sunset Boulevard.
We're all over. We
all
out here.
Over.
Because I know you got the billboard in Times Square now.
Oh my gosh.
I saw that.
I was like, It was a moment. It was a moment.
A big moment.
Thank you.
A big moment.
Yeah, I mean, this is.
If I wasn't having a bad hair day,
this is for you right now. So this is. I appreciate you so much for coming on.
Yeah, no, thank
and
you for listening.
you guys tune into all the things that he has going on. Go to the Rumble gyms that are open already and the ones that are opening up in the future, and keep trying. And I'm gonna end.
Trying is cool.
Yes. Trying is more than cool, and it should be more popular than what it is now. And that is it for Telli Talks.